face it, we are all here today to learn something new and strategic about how we can stop our wishy-washy ways and turn them into winning ways. And this is a fun topic, and I'm trying to be a little lighthearted about it, but it is really something that matters. It's an important thing to recognize within yourself when you are being wishy-washy and when you're being a winner. So let's dive into this a little bit because I'm going to show you today and talk to you about showing up strong and confident, like the leader that you must be if you are going to have a mission-based business and you're going to make an impact in the world. So we're going to talk about how to establish yourself and instill conviction and confidence into the words that you say. So I find that wishy-washiness shows up more in women than it does in men across the board. And I suppose I shouldn't generalize quite so much, but having been in the business world now for almost 50 years, spending 30 years in a very male-dominated corporate environment, and then the last 15, 20 years or so in the entrepreneurial space, but primarily in the last 15 years in the coaching space, I have found that it's something that comes more naturally to women to be a little less just strong in the way that they come across to people. And I think that the reason for that is because women tend to want to be people pleasers a little bit more. And so they don't always want to speak with confidence and conviction. They want to leave that wiggle room for people who may not agree with them. So they don't want to offend anybody. And the other thing I think is that women like this idea of, I want to leave it open in case I want to change my mind, right? And so it's okay to a degree to want to be pleasing to people, to want to come across as amiable. But there are times in business when that really does not serve you. And this is an example of this. So this is something that just happened recently that made me start thinking about this. And I'm not saying that I've never done this myself. A lot of the times, the things that I teach are the things I'm learning as well, or refining in myself. They're things I know, but we all sometimes get a little bit complacent, right? And we forget some of the things that keep us sharp as tacks, which we need to be business owners. I have a joint venture partner, and I was talking to her the other day about participating in an upcoming brainstorming session. And you know what it's like when you're trying to herd the cats, right? You're trying to get a group of people together and to just find a time when the right people will be in the Zoom room with you. And she was really excited about this idea that we were going to be getting together for this brainstorming session. And so when I told her the date and what we had decided on, her response was, "Great, I'll do my best. I'll do my best." How do you think I interpreted that response? I'm going to tell you, because in my mind, that told me a lot. Basically, what it said to me was, I'm not really committed. I may or may not show up. It's not that important to me. I'll do my best, right? Maybe something better will come along. So I'm not really going to go all in on this. And it just isn't something that I'm going to commit to. And so how do I then interpret that? Right? What does that say to me? That puts up some red flags right away, which makes me feel like, don't count on her. That's a very iffy response. I'll do my best. Now, it sounds okay on the surface, but I wonder what she really intended to convey, because I hope she didn't really want to convey to me the point that she didn't care that much and she may or may not be there and that I couldn't count on her. I hope that she just had a poor choice of words and that what she was really saying is, yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll show up. Yes, I'll be there. Those are strong words. Those instill a sense of confidence in me that she is going to show up. Here's another example. A lot of times my husband will ask me will you do this, or do you want to do this, or should we do this? And my response might be, we'll see. And maybe at that moment, I'm not ready to make a decision, or I don't know if I want to do it, or whatever. But here's what happens. Like, he'll get upset if I say that. And actually, I don't blame him. But he'll always remind me that when he was growing up and he asked his dad for something, the response from his dad was, we'll see. But what he really meant was no. So every time my husband hears me or anybody else say, we'll see, if he asks them to do something or should we do something or a question, he feels disappointed because he feels like he just got that rejection, right? The no. And so I think we have to start internalizing and recognizing and becoming conscious of how the things we say land on the other people. Because I don't mean no when I say we'll see, but because of his past, he thinks no. I probably actually do mean right now is not a good time for me to think about that, because you know how it is when we're entrepreneurs and we work from home and he happens to see me, but he doesn't realize I have 6 things going on in my head at once that I need to do. So it is better for communication for me to say, I want to think about that. And yes, I'm interested in us talking about that, and we will do it at another time, or give me half an hour or whatever. It's how I communicate. So a lot of times, though, in the business world, we don't have the opportunity to know how it's landing with the other person, what their perception is of what we're actually saying. So I think it's important that we recognize that when we say things that are wishy-washy, that it's a no answer. So she didn't really answer me that she was going to be there, right? She just said, I'll try my best, or no, I'll do my best, which is even better than try. I've always had that thing. You guys have probably heard that expression where Yoda said, there is no try. It's do or do not. So when somebody says, I'll do my best, does that really mean they're going to do it? Or does that really mean they're going to show up? I don't know. It's just, it becomes a little bit of an ambiguous response. I'm sure you've all experienced that on a sales call, where a person will say something like, I'll think it over, or I'll take a look, send me something. I call those the see mores. They always need to see more. But what they're really saying is, no, I'm not sold on this idea. I'm not excited really to do this. And I just really want to get off this call. And so there's a couple of different issues there. Obviously, from the salesperson perspective, we didn't do a good enough job in the sales process. But do you do that to people when you are the client, the prospect on the other end? Because in all fairness to the person that you just blew off, it probably isn't really a good communication method. It would be better to tell that person, no, I'm not interested right now in doing that. And I have whatever your reason is, which is fine if you have a reason. Conviction. Don't be wishy-washy. Say yes or say no. And if it's a timing issue and the answer is no for right now because the timing isn't right for me, that's okay. But at least you're stating conviction. And if you can get used to doing this and being more forthright in the way you speak to people and being more truthful and honest and not being wishy-washy, it's going to carry over into all aspects of your business and you're going to show up in a different way. So sometimes people might not like the answer that you gave them. No, I can't do that, or I'm not going to do that, or it's not a good time for me, is not necessarily what they want to hear, but it at least is closure. It's at least definitive, and it shows you showing up in a way that makes you more decisive. And why does that matter, how you show up as a prospect? Because as my coach, Suzanne, says, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So if that's true and you're showing up wishy-washy in one area, then it's probably happening in other areas. And what it does is it actually repels your prospective clients from coming to want to work with you. Because if you're the client and I say to you, oh, yes, I'm so glad that you're going to come and you're going to be a part of the team here, and I'll do my best to help you. Does that make you feel like you want to give me money as a coach or a mentor? If I say, let's see how it goes, give me your money and let's see how it goes. Really? No, you're not going to want to work with that kind of a person. So if people are perceiving that you're that kind of a wishy-washy person, then it's going to come across in all aspects, and they're not going to want to come and say yes to your programs or whatever it is that you have to offer them. So the thing with saying, I'll do my best, is that on the surface, it does sound okay. It sounds positive, but it truly isn't. It's leaving doubt in that receiver's mind. And whenever there's doubt, then trust is not there, right? You can't have doubt and trust together. They just don't, they're mutually exclusive. So in order to know, for people to know that you can be relied on, you have to state your responses with much more conviction. So just remember, your words matter. And another part about this that a lot of people don't realize is that it isn't just how your words land with the other person. It's what you tell yourself. Your subconscious is taking in whatever your words are. And you can be thinking one thing, but if you're stating something opposite of, that's what your subconscious is actually hearing. And when your subconscious hears this indecisiveness and this non-committal, it's leaving the door open for maybe something else will come along, and it probably will, because you haven't really etched that in stone that you've committed to it. And so this is going to definitely erode your trust and the persona that you bring out into the business world. And look, it's noisy out there. There's a lot of people that are out there trying to figure out who they want to work with. And there's a lot of people offering their services out there. And you want to show up as somebody who they trust and that they definitely would rely on and know that you are going to be there for them. You will show up. So, do I feel that this person that said to me, I'll do my best, is actually committed to show up? No, I don't think that at all. So, we'll see. Anyway, how does this show up in your business? It's going to affect the way that you follow through. It's going to affect the fact that you aren't actually ever committing to anything. So the things that are important don't really get done. Because if you say that something's important, but then you don't make a commitment to do it, then it's not important. And there's always going to be those things that are urgent that you will do. And there's maybe those things are things that have to do with your kids or some other thing you're involved in. But then things that you are trying to do with your business become just presented to other people like, I do this when I get around to it. I do this on the side. And it doesn't put you in position of leadership and authority. So the other thing it does is it really does make the person on the receiving end feel undervalued. So when this person said that to me, it actually does have an impact on me personally, where I feel like, okay, she doesn't really value this relationship that we have as joint venture partners. It's just something that she's maybe dabbling around in, but she doesn't have the commitment. And that's how I felt. It may not even be true, but that was how I felt about it. So it leaves me feeling not confident or comfortable in the relationship. And again, the loyalty is a big thing. Do you want people to know that if you say you're going to do something, you are 100% going to be there or not? And again, these are all things to really become conscious of and to catch yourself and to hear yourself and to decide whether you're showing up strong and with conviction or whether you're showing up wishy-washy. You will win a lot more if you show up with conviction. I guarantee it. So you want to show up as your best self. How do you do that? This is another thing that kind of surprises me. How many coaches and trainers and service providers don't have coaches or mentors themselves? Now, some of them are in these group programs, but they're really not getting the individual feedback. And that is priceless. To be able to have someone that can really hold a mirror up and reflect back to you how you show up is super important. And that's the reason why a lot of people don't want mentors and coaches, because they don't want people to tell them how they're showing up or reflect that back to them or how they're being perceived. But that's how we grow. It's important to have somebody it doesn't sometimes not even a person you're paying, but somebody that you respect as a mentor, teacher, spiritual guide, who is going to be able to show you or reflect back to you how you're showing up. And it does help you in so many ways if you want to break through to a new level. If you're feeling stuck right now with your business, it's not growing the way you want it to grow, or the customers that you have are not sticking and things aren't working the way you want them to, a big part of that is to look in the mirror, to start listening to the things you say and determine, is it something that you're doing? And it always is, because the people who are going to show up as leaders are going to attract in the people who want to follow leaders. Being wishy-washy is your dream killer. That's a big part of it. So figure out where you're being wishy-washy, where you're not showing up with your confidence and your conviction and your truth and putting it out there. And you will not achieve greatness just by dabbling at it, trying it, doing it when it's convenient for you. You will achieve greatness when you commit. When you say, yes, I will be there. Yes, I will do that. So if you don't have yourself a mentor, guess what? You should be joining us in the WIN Partner Program. Now, I always offer this to everybody whenever I'm doing these trainings because, well, worth it. So many people are struggling. And with this partner program, we have various aspects of how we work with you and how we will help you, because we have a whole team of leaders here who will work with you and help you in whatever area you need to show up stronger with more conviction. And so we make this so easy. We literally have a $20,000 coaching program that you can access like for nothing practically. And all you have to do is join us in our economy that we share in our joint venture. And we will help you. We'll help you to monetize your own business. We'll help you to monetize the business of the people who are in your audience. If you've got a good audience on social media, it's all simple. It doesn't require you to take your focus off your game. every single person that's part of our WIN partner program, it has their own individual mission. They are all doing some big, important work in the world. They all have a very strong spiritual calling, and they have gifts and talents and strengths that they want to share with the world. And we're going to help you do that. That is our primary mission, to help you do that, whether it's funding that mission, whether it's showing you how to build a list and attract in your ideal clients. But most importantly, we're going to show you how to show up. And that is going to be one of the most important things. So I will tell you that when you join us, we will support you. We will do everything that we say we will do. We will step up to the plate and we will be there for you. And we won't just do our best. We will do the ultimate work that we promise you that we will do. So thank you so much for listening to me today, for showing up, and for being part of this WIN community. We are women making a big impact in the world, and we can only do it through collaboration. We cannot do it individually. So we've found that out. And so let's continue to support one another here in this group. And I thank you so much for being here. And I bless each one of you and send you all my love. And I will be back. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.